Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Miami football predictions for the 2020 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to your channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. I'm really trying to go to this channel. I do have a subscriber goal of 500 subscribers, which I'd love to hit by August 29th. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. You will not regret it. So Miami football last year, very disappointing. 6-6, 6-7 if you include the bowl game. Lost to two Conference USA teams. I make a joke all the time that Miami should be part of the Conference USA because they lost to two Conference USA teams last season, including a shutout. That is as embarrassing as it gets for Miami right there. But this year they're hoping to at least turn the chapter on that, maybe be at least somewhat better. So we'll see how it goes. Let's kick it off with things I like. Things I like, the defense. I do think that the defense is very good for Miami. Miami's defense, in my opinion, I think is going to be probably top 3 in the ACC and probably top 25 defense in the country. They're going to have to ride that defense a lot. I also like the talent. Their talent is good enough to go ahead and make the college football playoffs. That's how good the talent is. Now, granted, they haven't done that in the past 20 years or so. Make a championship game, but that talent. I can make a real argument that talent at minimum is good enough to make a New Year's Six bowl. I mean, that talent is good enough to run through the ACC Coastal, but once again, haven't really done it in I would say 20 years. Well, they did in 2017, but they have not won the ACC once since joining it in 2004. So that's also something else that is a problem there for Miami. The one thing I don't like is their offense. I know they get D'Eriq King. I do expect him to be the starting quarterback. But at the same time, I mean, at best, that offense is going to be like maybe a Virginia last year, a one-man show offensively. They need to be better offensively if they want to be taken seriously. The three toughest games are North Carolina, Virginia Tech, and Florida State. North Carolina, I do think, is a top 25 team. Virginia Tech, I think, is a borderline top 25 team. And Florida State, that game is always tough. It's an in-state rivalry game. It brings the best out of both teams. You guys actually went up there. That was probably the highlight of your season last year, going up there and actually beating them. I think the final score was 27-10. That was probably the highlight, and Billy Tiger got fired after that. That was the highlight of the season last year, beating them. So, but that is your third toughest game, in my opinion. Three easiest games: Ragnar, UAB, and Temple. Never heard of Ragnar before. I've never heard of them. UAB, one of the better teams in the Conference USA. We'll see what you guys do against them. That's a Thursday night game at home in week 3. And then Temple. Temple, I do think takes a somewhat of a step back. I still think they're at least a middle of the road team in the American. So, but I put that as your third easiest game. I could have picked Georgia Tech, but you guys lost to Georgia Tech last year, and you can get them on the road. So that's why I just went with the group of 5 teams you all are facing in your non-con. Your best case and worst case scenario. Best case scenario, 11-1. I think you guys can go 11-1 with the talent you have with this schedule. I actually think you guys can go 11-1. Worst case scenario, the record you had last year. There's no way you guys do not make a bowl game with this schedule. If you guys can't make a bowl game with this schedule, Manny Diaz has to go. So that's my opinion on your best case and worst case scenario. Let's look at the schedule. Here's the schedule right here in front of you. I'll go game by game, tell you which games I have you all winning and losing. The goal is not to decide which games or get the games that you guys are going to win and lose correctly. The goal is to get the record correct at the end. So when I look back at this, I can say I was right about my Miami football prediction. So let's start off with Temple in week 1. Temple, as I said, I think they're going to take a step back, but at the same time, I still think they're a middle of the road conference, middle of the road American Conference team. This game has some meaning behind it for Temple because Manny Diaz was their head coach for 15 minutes before Miami offered him the job. So that's something. There's some history here, recent history between the two schools. Maybe not on the field, but off the field. Was also a formal Big East matchup every year as well. Miami versus Temple. So that's also a former conference rival as well. I think you guys beat Temple. I think this game's maybe somewhat competitive in the first half. I think you guys go ahead and beat them. I mean, the guys aren't going to push them over like 56-0 or anything, but I think you guys beat them. I think pretty convincingly, something like 38-10, something like that. Next game, Ragnar at home. Win. I've actually never heard of Ragnar before. I've never heard of them. I think they're a school in New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. If any Ragnar fans are watching, but I think you guys go ahead and beat them pretty easily. I think the defense shows up, possibly even pitches out a shutout in this one. Next game, Thursday night game, week 3 against UAB. UAB, as I said, one of the better Conference USA teams, probably top 4 Conference USA team. Conference USA is pretty heavy, by the way. But remember, you guys lost to 2 Conference USA teams last year. Now, granted, I think your 2-game losing streak against the Conference USA ends in this game, Thursday night game at home. I think you guys get the win here. I do think this game is a bit competitive. It's kind of like that Temple game, not complete give me. But I think you guys go ahead and get the job done against UAB. Next game at Michigan State. Michigan State, if you've been watching my channel, I said I'm not high on them at all. And that is true. I am not really that high on this team. I don't think they're really going to be that good of a football team this year. I don't expect them to make a bowl game. And I think it's going to be a tough season for Michigan State. You get them on the road. But I do have a sneaking suspicion and a gut feeling that you guys are going to lose this game. I gave you guys a loss. I think you guys are the better team. But I just have a gut feeling you guys are going to go up there and lose in East Lansing. You always lose against a team you're supposed to beat every year, and then you always beat a team that you're supposed to lose to every year. And I think this is the case with this game. I think you guys go ahead and drop that game to Michigan State. First game, your first loss of the year. Then you open up ACC play. First game is against Pitt. Last year you went up there and beat them when a lot of people thought you were going to lose to them. Pitt is a team, in my opinion, that they're going to be better than what they were last year. They're not. They're going to give you a very competitive game. I think this game goes either way. I'm going to give it to Miami, though, because they're the home team. Even though, to be honest, let's be fair, Miami fans don't show up to the state crowd, or they don't show up to the games, rather. Miami fans don't really show up to the games unless it's a big game. Pitt is a team. I think they're a decent team, but I just think at the end, Miami, the defense will be the difference, and you guys will get the win against Pitt. I think probably a 1-possession game. Next game at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is a team very good offensively. I like the quarterback Sam Hartman. Defensively, they do have some question marks. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth game. It could turn into a shootout. I went back and forth for this one. It's a Friday night game, by the way. I'm always a bit leery about picking a Friday night road team. If this was a Saturday game, I would probably go Miami. But since it's a Friday night short week, I'm going to go with Wake Forest here. I don't think I think both of these teams are pretty much even in the ACC. But I'm going to give it to Wake Forest since they're the home team. And that's your first loss in the ACC. Then you get your bye week. Your bye week comes after 6 games into the season, which is pretty good. And you start off the season 4-2, in my opinion, which is pretty good. I mean, probably better than what you guys were last year. After your bye week comes at a good time, by the way. After your bye week, North Carolina at home. Last year, you guys lost to North Carolina in a basically a back and forth game. I think as I said, North Carolina is a top 25 team in my opinion. I went back and forth for this one. The game is in Miami. I think this game is going to be a night game. I'm just going to come out and say right now, I think this game is a night game. It's a Saturday game. By the way, the rest of your games are Saturday games. I gave it to you guys. I think you guys get the win here. You guys even might be a bit of an underdog in this game. So back to that point I made about Michigan State. You're gonna lose. You guys always. Every team always loses a game they're not supposed to win, and I mean every team loses a game that they're supposed to win. Every team wins a game that they're not supposed to win. I think this is in this case right here. I think you guys beat North Carolina. Very close game, but I think you guys get the job done. Maybe a bit low scoring, but you guys get the job done at home. Coming off a big win against North Carolina, on the road against Virginia. By the way, I already did North Carolina football predictions, so go check that out. But on the road against Virginia, This is going to be a tricky game in my opinion. I don't think Virginia is just going to go away like some people think they are. I still think this team's going to be a rather pretty competitive team. Defensively, they're going to be pretty good. I think this is a very low scoring game. They do lose Bryce Perkins. Got to figure out that quarterback position. I know a Virginia fan would tell you that the running game is going to be better than where it was last year. I need to see that to believe that. I'm not completely sold on that. I don't think the offense is that good. But it's in Virginia. I'm back and forth. I gave you guys a loss. I think this is going to be basically a 50-50 game here. I I gave it to Virginia because of the home team. I think talent wise, you guys are better, but I think coaching wise, they're better. I think it comes down to coaching and there being the home team. Next game, Florida State, big time rivalry game here. To me, this is one of my favorite rivalry games. The only issue I have with this rivalry really is that they always seem to be a different week every year. They need to find a week, like maybe, for instance, maybe like the 3rd October in of the month, the third Saturday of October, like Alabama Tennessee. You have Alabama Tennessee at 3:30, and then you turn around and have Miami and Florida State at night. Because to me, this rivalry's better when it's a night game. I know it wasn't last year. You guys actually went up there and beat the crap out of them, I would say, 27-10. I think the game's going to be a bit closer than that, but I'm going to give you guys the win, primarily because I actually think you guys are the better team. And you guys are at home. The fans will show up for this one. I'm going to go ahead and say that Miami goes ahead and beats Florida State. And it could turn into a bit of a shootout. I don't think Florida State's defense is really all there. It could turn into a bit of a shootout, but I think at the end, I think you guys win this one by 7 to 10 points. I think this game's a bit closer than where it was last year. Next game at Virginia Tech. I already did the Virginia Tech football prediction video. Go check that out. Virginia Tech is a team, as I said. They basically are treading water. I'm not really sold on them. But they're treading water to look like they're good enough. I went back and forth for this one. The game is in Blacksburg. That is, I think, a big disadvantage for Miami. Last year, you guys lost him 42-35. I think you guys were down 28-0 at one point, but came back and made it at least competitive. I think this game's really competitive, but I gave it to Virginia Tech primarily because they're the home team. I think this game is one of those other 50-50 games. Could go either way, but I'm going to go ahead and give it to Virginia Tech since they are the home team. Next game at Georgia Tech. You guys better not lose to Georgia Tech this year. I know you guys get them on the road. Last year, you guys lost them at home. I was very disappointed in Miami after that one. Georgia Tech is a team, in my opinion, that is a complete rebuild right now. I don't think they're really a good team. I think they have a really tough schedule, which makes it worse for Georgia Tech. I think you guys win the game. I know it's up there in Atlanta, but I expect you guys to win this game by at least 10 to 14 points. I really do. I think you guys are miles ahead of them, and I do think you guys win this game. I really do. So go ahead, give me Miami over Georgia Tech, and then the final game of the year against Duke. You guys cannot be losing to Duke again. You guys, I think, lost the previous 2 years to Duke, if I'm not mistaken. I think you guys also lost the previous 2 years to Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys cannot be losing to Duke. There's no way Miami should be losing to Duke for multiple years. And I think that changes this year. I think you guys come away with the win. I think it's gonna be a competitive game. Because I do think Duke is gonna be a bit better than what they were last year. I think it'll be a competitive game. But at the end, I'll take Miami by about 10 points in this one. Go ahead and give me the Hurricanes over the Blue Devils. So that's my game by game predictions. If you count up all the wins and losses, I have the University of Miami going 8-4 with a 5-3 conference record. 8-4 with a 5-3 conference record. If you watch my videos on Virginia Tech and North Carolina, I do think they'll do better than Virginia Tech in the conference, but unfortunately, I don't think they do better than North Carolina in the conference. And I also think Pitt could be in the running for second place, as well as Virginia. So we have to wait and see what I have for those two. I'm going to be doing a video after I do the whole conference, like the whole ACC, the whole Big Ten, the whole SEC, and line up and tell you what the standings are, and show you my final predictions with the standings. So you guys can stay tuned for that one. But anyways, 8-4, 5-3, 2-game improvement. You guys have a shot at 9 wins. That's always to me. Not if you get 9, 10 wins, that's at least a decent season. Um, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think you guys improved by 2 games in the regular season. So comment down below. Tell me what you think about the Miami Hurricanes this year. I don't think you guys are going to the ACC championship game. I just don't. I think North Carolina is better than you guys. Despite you guys beating them, I think they're better than you guys because their ACC schedule is a bit easy. You guys get Florida State and Wake out of the Atlantic. I believe they get God, who they get? NC State, and I think they get. Do they get Syracuse? Maybe I don't know, but comment down below. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. I always like hearing from y'all. Thanks for watching. McD the Beast signing off.